Well, Bolts fans, round 1 is officially underway, and the Tampa Bay Lightning did not perform up to par in game 1, falling to the Panthers 6-2 at home. Let's dive further into this one than we normally do for regular season games. 1. I want to examine these goals and explain why they happen for those who want to learn more, teach those who have never played the game themselves, and hopefully enlighten those with interesting takes on social media. Let's start with Sam Bennett's goal in the first. This goal is a direct result of a bad pinch by Mac at the blue line. This is such a fast decision to make in this situation, so while it isn't always a bad play, it is here. As a defenseman, I think you need to respect this Cat's second line as much as the first as far as offensive capability and ensure no unnecessary odd man rushes develop as they did here. This was a rare mistake by McDonough, and let's not shy away from giving Sam Bennett the credit he deserves for some serious hand-eye coordination. At the end of the first, Reinhart scored the second Panthers goal with an absolutely monstrous deflection. This was a remarkable play, and if you want to blame anyone here, it's Hedman for not being tighter on his man and taking the stick out of the play. I still believe this is merely a fantastic deflection goal rather than some egregious Lightning error. The third goal is embarrassing to say the least, from clearly the Bolts' worst defensive pairing of Lilleberg and Perbix. I've been ragging on Perbix for a long time, but this play more than any shows how correct I am about him not belonging in the NHL. Absolutely lazy, effortless, embarrassing defense from him on this play. You see him use a defensive cycle here to give Lilleberg the puck behind the net, which is fine. Immediately after getting rid of the puck, he takes a mild cross-check from Marchand to the shoulder blade, which certainly does not feel good. But this is the Stanley Cup playoffs. Look how much faster Marchand gets back into this play. He's left wide open for a one-timer. Perbix takes far too long to recover from this nudge by Marchand, and he gets lazy thinking Lilleberg is safe behind the net. Only when Lilleberg gets forechecked does he decide he needs more urgency, and by then it's way too late. His man takes a shot long before he arrives, and he's caught chasing the puck the entire rest of the play until it's in the net. Absolutely unacceptable play from an NHLer, especially in the Stanley Cup playoffs. If you can't take a quick nudge from Marchand and keep your sharpness, urgency, and intensity, you need to get out of the NHL. And if I see this play, the Cats certainly do. They are in their team meeting laughing at how soft this play is. They can see you either don't care about winning or you're too weak to handle their style of play. Both are bad and both are unacceptable. In addition to this, one of these forwards needs to take the stick of a guy chasing the rebound. In this case, I believe Geeky should have this guy tied up to prevent this easy rebound goal for Nate Schmidt. Now let's talk about the defense on the Cats' fourth goal, arguably a positioning error on the penalty kill. It looks like the Lightning are trying to play man until they set up a penalty killing box. The problem with this is on the PK, you are a man down. I think this starts with Chernak deciding to cover the man in the corner instead of the front of the net. I'm not sure why he values that outside shot as opposed to protecting the crease, but it could be that he assumes a forward will cover the additional guys entering the zone. This is a style of play. You can also see both Gensel and Hagel misread this play as they both go high thinking the puck will leave the zone, leaving to Chuck with a good 3 to 5 seconds to do whatever he wants to Vasi. Hagel even mentions in his post-game presser that this goal is entirely on him, which leads me to believe that Chernak followed the correct man to the corner and Hagel was supposed to stay low and cover net front instead of looking to advance a breakout that was not definite at that point. The fifth Cats goal also comes on the power play with a few notable errors on the Lightning. Most obvious error to me is Chernak not taking the body here. He gets caught puck watching against Barkov, one of the best forwards in the league, and gets deked instead of being physical and taking the body. This allows Barkov to create havoc in front and force the puck into the crease. The next thing I see is strange positioning by Vasi. It almost looks like he thought he had time to relocate the puck and reset himself, which was certainly not the case as the puck crosses the goal line almost right as he finds it. His urgency looked a tad slow here, and I think it's simply because he thought no one possessed the puck after he lost it in the scrum in front. I do believe, however, that Girgensons is as much to blame as Chernak on this goal, as he essentially panic clears the puck and puts it directly onto Chuck's stick. I recognize the speed of this play and the sense of urgency to clear the front of the net, but this simply needs to be an iced puck or a more controlled breakout. He does have enough time to skate this puck away from center ice here. The sixth goal is simply traffic in front of the net, well executed by the Cats. The Bolts need to clear a line of sight for Vasi, who clearly cannot see the puck at all in this play. 2. Now that we've examined these goals in depth, can fans stop calling for Vasilevsky's head? You can maybe, and I mean maybe, give a small share of the blame on the fifth goal, but it's not a single one of these other goals falls on the goaltender. Not one. I've seen a lot of comments that say, yeah, but he's a Hall of Famer and he should save some of those. No one is supposed to save a guy deking alone in front of the net for 5 seconds. No one. Throw your Vasi as wash takes in the garbage because you're only showing your lack of understanding of the sport. 3. Special teams. The Lightning were simply outplayed on special teams. They were punished for all 3 man advantages they gave the Cats and were denied on 2 of their 3 power plays. I chalk this up to a few things. First, how many times have I mentioned in my videos that Lilleberg needs a discipline lesson? I love the kid. He brings a physicality that the Lightning desperately need. But would I add a rookie with physicality at the cost of granting the opponent a power play almost every game? Absolutely not. Healthy scratch the kid or find another way to stop the penalties because we are now in the playoffs where this lack of discipline loses games. The everyone makes mistakes argument is also invalid. He now has 22 penalty minutes in the last 16 games and a regular season Lightning high of 105 minutes in 76 games. That is 47 minutes more than the second most on the team, Hagel with 58, and it needs to change because the physicality and 18 regular season points are not worth 1 penalty kill per game, or not. Another issue with the special teams, particularly the penalty kill, is the early injury to Anthony Cirelli. The Lightning rely on Tony to play big minutes, especially in these situations where he thrives. This leads me to my next topic. 4. Injuries. With Cirelli uncertain for game 2 and Bjorkstrand still week to week, the Bolts need guys to step up. They say everyone is injured in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is absolutely true. Injuries are not an excuse in the playoffs, and while these are 2 key pieces, it doesn't change the game for the Lightning. They need to be better positionally in every facet of the game, regardless of who's on the ice. 5. I have some rare concerns surrounding coaching decisions. This is for a few reasons, the first of which was a questionable challenge by John Cooper. He even seems to acknowledge this in his post-game presser. Strongly dislike the risk on this specific play. To me, there's absolutely not goalie interference here, and I fail to really even see how one might think otherwise. As I've previously mentioned, I also really just don't like Perbix and Lilleberg's playtime. I think Crozier belongs on this team over both of them. He's physical, better positionally, and plays with an urgency that we just do not see in Perbix's game. Lilleberg skating more than both Moser and Radish is puzzling to me. Perbix playing at all is even more puzzling. 6. Let's give the Cats some credit. I cannot stand this team, but you cannot deny the sheer impressiveness of their play in this one. They converted all 3 power plays, had some beautiful goals, play a physical, grinding game that caused turnovers, as seen on that forecheck on Lilleberg for the 4th Panthers goal. Chuck looked like he missed no time and came back with his grittiness and raw talent. They recorded an away win as their first of the postseason. This Panthers team is not going away, and the Lightning have their hands full. With all of that being said, this is playoff hockey. The best of the best. There are series for a reason. The people who discard this team as washed and trash and ramble about how, they'll get swept, they just do not understand the game. Do not follow suit. Learn the game, understand what's going on, and cheer on your team regardless of what happens. I'll leave you with a wonderful, encouraging statistic. Since 2018, the Tampa Bay Lightning have lost game 1 of a series and still won the series 60% of the time. They lost game 1 10 times since 2018 and still won 6 of them. NHL average is 32%, which shows you how resilient this team really is. Don't expect the Bolts to roll over and die. This is about to be a series, and I'll see you in section 108 at Amalie for game 2. Go Bolts.